Hey guys, broadcasting from the outdoors outside on this beautiful South Florida evening, about 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Another day in the 90s here in South Florida. It's June 1st, 2019. And what I can tell you is moving from New Jersey to Florida, one of the key reasons was to spend more time outdoors and to have the weather, the climate, enable that. Um, when you think about where you want to live in life, which is one of the most important decisions, it shouldn't necessarily be based on where your family, where your friends. It should be based on the environment that inspires you. And part of an environment, one of the major parts of an environment is the weather, is the climate. And every human kind of has a different biological makeup in what type of weather: heat, cold, dry, wet, high humidity, low humidity. I think every person has a unique sensitivity to what weather inspires them. And for me, it's always been warm weather, even more so as I got older and I started to go for walks outside and the fresh air. And once I got my blood flowing and how better I felt about myself when I got moving. And walking in the winter, even I bundled up, it wasn't the same as when I was able to have the sun hit my skin with a cut-off shirt. The vitamin D comes from the sun. That's one of the ways you can get vitamin D, and that's part of a blessing of being in the outdoors. That can help your physical and mental health, getting the proper vitamin D. But sitting here tonight at 9:30 p.m. in a beautiful, it's basically the summertime in Florida. It's not too hot. It gets very hot during the height of the day, but in the evening and the morning time, it's very beautiful. I think in New Jersey, it's still like very cool in the winter. In the summer, in the night, in the fall, and in the morning and in the evening. But for me, outdoor living is not getting the furniture out of your basement or out of your garage for a few months out of the year. For me, outdoor living is a lifestyle. It's something I want to be part of my everyday routine. And that's part of the reason why I picked Florida. It's also part of the reason why I thrive in the nomadic life. Because if you ever do live out of an RV, van, or vehicle, you're going to realize that most of your time is spent outdoors, whether it's at public parks, beach, cafes. And so you have to have the type of personality that you don't necessarily have to be a people person, but I think you have to be the type of person that is adaptable to outdoor climate. And it's an interesting thing that the human has basically survived on Earth from the majority of history without an indoor setting. It's only within the past 100, 200 years that the human race has invented indoor plumbing, electricity, and all the amenities that come with living indoors. But for the majority of the human race, we lived outdoors. And then there's certainly value of living indoors. There's amenities, can keep you from getting sick. It provides a good shelter. But like everything in life, it's possible that humans went too far to the other spectrum. I think most people spend the majority of their day indoors, from waking up in their house, putzing around most of the time in their house. Then even if they go to the gym, that's indoors. Then even if they go to some type of lunch, it's indoors. You go to work indoors. You go pick up your kids from school, they're indoors. Most of the time you're indoors. Snow Panther, I appreciate the super chat, brother. Thank you for that. Thank you. And thank you for everyone on live checking, but Snow Panther, thank you. You spend the majority of your days indoors. And what I found, again, for me, is there was a tremendous rejuvenation of my spirit when I started to go for walks, because I had become very sedentary indoors. After I got to my mid 20s and I realized I kind of really didn't want a relationship. I had a dog and I just pretty much let myself go, and I enjoyed playing video games and watching movies. And it was a good season of life. But I kind of, once I got into my 30s, I want to start to change my life. And part of changing it was just going for a walk and getting fresh air, and again my blood starting to flow, and I get encouraged listening to my music, and it started to change my outlook on life. I started to become more inspired. I started to use more of my creativity. Uh, it opened up doors in my mind being outdoors. And then I said, wow, this is really magical. I said, how can I position my life to be outdoors more without the brutal cold of the New Jersey winter, without fall or spring? I really enjoyed hot all year round. And I really, enjoyed hearing the birds. Like today I was in the park and I was basically amongst the birds and the squirrels, and it was a quiet park. And what it was like is like I was like in nature, like back in the day, like the human race, just like in nature, like Tarzan. I felt like Tarzan. That's what I felt like. And that's why the MILFs love me. The MILFs look at me like a compassionate Tarzan. I think there is, there was a guy in here, he still watches, but he went through a nasty divorce, and he said like a squirrel saved his life. And I'm sure that was a little bit exaggerated, but there's value in being around nature. Not just pets. I mean, pets are good, but pets have also gone a little bit extreme, where people hoard pets, where people become a prisoner to their pets. I know a lot of people, even me, there was a season of my life where I became a prisoner to my pet. What does that mean? That means you are basically, your day is dictated by your pet. Your day is not dictated by self-care. Your day is not dictated by what inspires you. It's dictated by your pet, because pets are you taking care of another human being. May not be, well, not a human being, I'm sorry, but another being, another alive being. So it's not human, but sometimes they're better than humans. But they're a lot of work, and it's a lot of responsibility to take care of something that's alive. Okay? And so, and even dogs, I remember an older guy saying to me, he was from like previous generations, he said, you guys, he's talking to me like younger generation, he goes, you guys keep your dogs indoors all the time. He goes, that's not good. Dogs are meant to be outside. Thank you, Apathy. Thank you. He goes, dogs are meant to be outside. And I kind of like resented that comment a little bit, because I was like, nah, I like to have my dog sleep in my bed, and I like to keep my dog indoors because I can control it more and make sure it doesn't get hurt, doesn't get bugs on it. But his point was noted, and I understand what he was saying. And I think dogs and pets, they do enjoy to be outdoors because they see the world through their nose. They have a very powerful nose, and they smell things, and they like to putz around, and they become alive. Like, my dog, I would always sleep with my dog in my bed, and I know my dog enjoyed being with me, but I could see my dog come alive when it went outdoors. Its senses kicked in, it became more alert, it became more, engaged in life. And so certainly at night, and during extreme weather, it's good to be indoors, to have that climate control, to have that, security, that shelter. So there's certainly a time to be indoors. There's certainly a time for shelter. But the point here tonight, we're going to go all live comments. Thank you again, Apathy and Snow Panther, for the super chats. The point here tonight is that at some level, you have to engage the outdoors. There's healing in the outdoors. In jail, you get locked up. One of the penalties, if you do not comply to the rules and regulations, they will take away your yard time. Your yard time is a period of the day where you're allowed to go outside, get fresh air, get sunlight. Sunlight and fresh air are crucial to human survival, human growth. And so a lot of times they'll take that away, and you'll be locked up indoors, and that's a punishment. It's a punishment for you not to be able to go outdoors. And so this again has been one of the things that, as I grow in life and as I became older and as I really started focusing on self-care and focusing on how can you really improve based on what you can control, how can you improve your mental health, how can you improve your physical health, how can you become more inspired? There's no one answer. You're still going to hate life at times. Life can still be bad. So again, you can't control everything, but one of the things you can control is spending more time outdoors. And for me, sweating a little bit is good. And for me, well, I like to sweat a lot. But just even sleeping has been better without, the air compressor or without the heating. There was extreme times when I was in my vehicle in New Jersey when it was really cold, and that was tough on my physical being. And at the height of the summer in Florida, it's tough with just a fan. So again, there's extreme weather where the indoors and the indoors amenities that the human race just within basically the past 100 years have invented to make life a little bit more pleasant. There's a time for that during extreme weather. But in most weather, I think you have to learn to not get complacent in the indoors, because I don't think your creativity, I don't think your health, I don't think your well-being, you I don't think you're going to be fully alive indoors. And again, like I remember when I tell my dog, like, Destiny, it's time to go outside, like she would jump up and she would be very much excited. Even in her old age, she would like to go outside just to sit by the curb and watch cars pass or watch people pass. Because being outdoors sets the soul on fire at a certain level. And that's what I'm noting in tonight's live feed. That's what I've experienced in life. And that's what I want to share with you to try to improve your life. And you got to get away from a little bit of the complaining that, bugs out, it's too hot, it's too cold. The people that say it's too hot, it's too cold, I don't like those people. I don't like those people. I never have, because what I found with those people is it's always something to complain about. Like, it has to be perfect outside. And then when it's perfect outside, they still sleep late. And their whole life is a disaster. They still sleep late. They still got a bad attitude. And those type of people, me and them are never going to vibe. And so part of like being outdoors is embracing like nothing is ever perfect. Okay. And I think when you can start to look at life and try to make your life better, but accepting it's not going to be perfect, I think you become more grateful and you become more of a doer. Okay? A lot of people aren't doers. They're worriers, they're complainers, they're procrastinators. To be a doer is to say, you know what, it's not perfect, but I'm going to do it. It's not perfect weather outside, but I'm going to walk. It's not the perfect conditions to do this and this and that, but I'm going to do it. And so when you develop that mind and you develop that habit, you begin to push forward in life. Does that make life perfect? No. Again, life is not perfect. But I believe through my own life experience, it makes life better. Okay? And so you have to keep your mind focused on making things better. Okay? Because that's the only thing that's going to renew your hope and give you a fighting shot on this journey. And that's what I want to share as I sit here in the outdoors. Again, beautiful evening for me in June here outside in South Florida. Beautiful women outside wearing, I fell in love at Starbucks. There was a beautiful blonde girl with nice yoga pants. And it was just very, very nice to look, but not to be committed. I don't like commitment, guys. We'll do a whole life if you don't commitment. I don't like commitment. I had a commitment to do a viewing at a little mobile home I was going to take a look at tomorrow, but I decided not to because I really don't want a mobile home. Even though it was on an RV lot, like you could rip it down, just use the RV lot. But just the commitment of having to meet someone at a certain time, it didn't sit well with me. So I was like, you know what, I got to cancel it. I said, I don't want to waste your time. This is really not what I'm looking for. So that's what it is. But we'll go into all live comments. Apathy, thank you again. Snow Panther, thank you again both for the super chats. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone. If these videos help you, if they're entertaining, or you just like to listen to it, click the thumbs up button, share the video. Apathy and Snow Panther, thank you again. That means something to me. Snow Dog, a lot of snows in here tonight. Hello, Sam. Snow Dog from New Jersey. What's up, brother? How's it outside in New Jersey today? Tough. I'm happiest in Florida. I agree. I changed my whole life, positioned my life, downsized my life so I could be more flexible and move to Florida. I think where you live plays a big part in your quality of life. Now, I also lost 200 pounds before I moved to Florida. I also cut off a lot of friends and lovers before I moved to Florida. I also built my career before I moved to Florida. So if you think Florida is just going to be a magical switch that's going to do the other things you need to do, I think you're disillusioned, and I think you're a undercover complainer. Look, guys, Florida's not going to get you in shape. You ain't going to bring your fat ass down here and think you're going to be outside walking. You're going to be complaining it's too hot, and you're going to go grab yourself a Chick-fil-A and turn the air conditioning up. So what I could tell you is this, guys: don't procrastinate on getting your health together, because that's not going to change when you move. Don't procrastinate on cutting people off. Don't procrastinate on building your career, because you have to start now and refine it as you go. If I waited until I'm going to be 39 tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm 38 today. I always say, right now, for all of us in here, this is the youngest you will ever be. Every day you can say that to yourself in the mirror. Every day you should wake up and say, this is the youngest I will ever be. Why should you say that? Because living with urgency, not living like a chicken with their head cut off, but living with urgency and being a doer and taking action steps to make your life better, that's part of pushing forward. Okay. So don't be complacent. And then he goes, I'm a hot weather person, so it works for me. Well, me and you on the same page. Shout out to my fellow Floridians. Sometimes, good to see you, I'm tough. Sometimes I just go on my wallet and I take my Florida license, driver's license out, and I just look at it. Last year I got my driver's license here and I repositioned here, and I get inspired still. I get inspired looking at my license plate. I pay extra $25 a year to have one of the customized plates that says Endless Summer. And that means something to me. It inspires me. It makes me happy. It encourages me. I would never look at my driver's license from New Jersey. I would never look at the license plates. The license plates are so bland. There's no specialty ones. There's just like a yellow one that says Garden State. What a disaster, guys. So what I could tell you guys is your license plate should inspire you. Look at your license plate. Does it inspire you? The color? The branding of your state? I saw a Tennessee plate today. Shout out to our guy, Journey with Jordan. I saw an Oregon plate. I saw a couple plates from out of state. Some of them had some nice colors, but I don't care how nice the plate would look from Oregon. There's no way I'd move to Oregon. Why? Because it's raining all year round, basically. It's not good, not good. So make a mental note, Snow Dog. Organic fruits and veggies for outdoor living, it's all crap or bull. Organic just means they don't use certain fertilizers. So get rid of organic. Start looking at food labels. Look at the sugar content, the sodium content, and the calories. Organic is not a big deal breaker. Don't cook your food in oils. Don't eat processed foods. Try to eat more whole foods. That means less fruit and vegetables that's blended, and that's sauteed in oils and even the salmon. If you cook your salmon in butter, guess what, guys? You just soaked your fish in lard and fat. Butter's just fat, guys. Now, look, doesn't mean you can't have any enjoyment, but you have to learn to read food labels. You have to be conscious to eat more whole foods, and you have to be conscious to read the food labels. Organic is just like keto. When I hear organic, I think of keto. I think of fat people that think that I'm eating organic. That don't mean nothing. It just means you're not eating certain fertilizers. It doesn't mean anything about your sugar intake or your sodium intake. The next thing someone usually tells me is like non-MGOs or it's not modified. Look, I don't care if the cells are modified or whatever. Look, the bottom line is you got to read food labels, plant-based diet, walk more, and you'll figure the rest out from there. Love to you, Snow Dog. Snow Panther. Thank you again, man. I like the name. I appreciate the super chat, brother. Love to you. What state you from if you want to share? I'm a traveling van. He's back. I'm a traveling van. Went on a hiatus. He's a Floridian also. Long-time Floridian, guys. And what I could tell you is he just spent some time in the local water parks. Water parks in Florida are open all year round because it's endless summer, and I like that. He spent some time in the water parks and some time in Disney because that's what he likes to do. And what do I tell him? I tell him, thumbs up, brother, keep doing you. And he goes, AC didn't become popular until the late 1950s. That's interesting. You guys, it's just in the past 100 years that the human race has created an indoor environment that's climate controlled and that keeps people indoors more than outdoors. And in some aspects, that hurts physical and mental health because people use it as a crutch. Now, in some aspects, it is good, right? In extreme weather, for certain things, it's good. So I don't want to totally bash the indoors. But what I want to tell you guys is look, there's something magical, something healing, something healthy to breathe fresh air, not compressed air from your dual zone AC compressor, not heating that's pumping, through your ductwork that's dirty as hell. That has pet hairs in it too. I know because I had that. But fresh air, okay, hopefully saltwater air, and sunlight, vitamin D, glistening all over your body, guys. Like, look at my body. The sun's just glistening. It's magical, okay? And what I could tell you guys, I mean, some of you guys, you've been trapped indoors. You're in a sheetrock prison, and you got no yard time, okay? You're locked up 24/7 in your sheetrock prison, and you get no yard time, okay? And you go to Home Depot, and it's magical for you to see the plants. And that's like going outdoors for you. And if going outdoors for you is going into the Home Depot garden section, it's time for you to reevaluate your life. Journey with Jordan, super chat. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate the fruits of your channel. Well, Journey with Jordan, brother, love to you. I saw a Tennessee plate today. Journey with Jordan is from Tennessee. Are you back in the vehicle? He got sick for a couple days. He ran a hotel room. Now I think he's back in the vehicle. He's using the nomadic life to transition. It is a transitional lifestyle. It gives you more flexibility to reposition your life and doing something that inspires you. I believe he wants to be a teacher in South Korea, or he wants to travel the world. So again, this life can help you transition. For me, it was mainly I got into the nomad life to transition from New Jersey to Florida. Right now, I'm staying in it because I like not having any commitments. And then after you do it for a certain amount of time, I say, am I really missing anything? Because I really don't have much lack. Now, when you get sick, that's the times like, you do say, well, maybe I need a home base. But then basically you do what Journey with Jordan did, or AJ, he lives in Miami, is you just rent a hotel room for a week. And then after you get better, you say, well, I'm glad I didn't buy a house just to stay in for a week when I really don't need it long term. But it's interesting. But Journey with Jordan, thank you, brother. Thank you, Apathy. Thank you, Snow Panther. Thank you all three for the super chats. I see them. I appreciate it. Hope you're feeling better, Journey with Jordan. Let's go back to live comments. Thank you, guys. And then Travel Man also said about the same time as television. That's a good point, Travel Man. Television, again, the value of television, let me start with the positive. The positive is like when people started seeing the Vietnam War on television, that's kind of what helped the public put pressure on the government to say, hey, look, war is not worth it. So television and the video platform, and YouTube is like television, it's a video platform. But the good thing about YouTube, it's not just corporations creating content, it's regular people like me. I'm not a corporation. And just, you can choose to watch what you want to watch, and it's not just dictated by a couple corporations. But, and also note that the government lied about the beginning of Vietnam, and then people who didn't want to fight, a lot of people dodged the draft. Trump dodged the draft, and a couple other politicians, Democrats, I think Bill Clinton dodged the draft too. So all these people that loved the military, they didn't want to serve when it was time to serve. So 50,000 people died in Vietnam, and it was under a false flag. So, so what I could tell you is this, is, television keeps you trapped indoors. And so one of the biggest things, I think I said it in the beginning of my journey, was that when I sold my house, the biggest thing I didn't miss was a television, especially at the end, because there's nothing on TV, even with cable, and even Netflix, to me, overrated. I don't like to binge watch things. I like YouTube, but I like not having a TV, because it allowed me to just develop my own thought, spend more time outdoors, and heal my mind. I remember when there was a season when watching TV would be harmful, make you think of certain things, and just get you frustrated. Other than Seinfeld, I like Seinfeld. That always made me laugh. Dennis, hey Sam, good evening, Dennis. How are you, brother? Let's take a hydration break. Good to see you, Dennis. Travel Man. It's cooler down there than it is up here in St. Petersburg. Thank you, brother. Well, I was looking at Clearwater, Florida, was where that alligator broke into that house the other night, like 11-foot alligator or something. I was thinking about you with that, but yeah, I guess it is cooler today. We had a storm come through, probably around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then about an hour or so the storm passed. So in Florida, especially usually between late May to October is rainy season. So for about an hour or so, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, in the afternoon, a rainstorm passes. And today, when the rainstorm passed, but it's still warm outside, it kind of brought some cool weather, so it wasn't as humid, which was nice. I still got in the ocean because after it passed, it was basically 90 degrees sunny, and so I went into the public restroom, put on my other basketball shorts that I use for swimming, and I fully submersed in the Atlantic Ocean. I didn't dip my toes in there. I didn't I go, oh, it's too cold. Nope. It doesn't matter if it's too hot, too cold. You fully submerse, and then your body adapts, and that's the value of being outdoors, and that's the value of. There's something magical, healing about salt water versus chemical filtered pool water. Now, I still like pools, but ocean's healthier in many instances. Definitely in South Florida, there's some beautiful ocean. Florida has some of the best oceans in the world, best coastlands in the world. That's what sometimes people say, Sam, don't you want to go to any other place in the world? I feel like Trump, when Trump said, they asked him that during like his honeymoon. He said, why would I leave Palm Beach? It's the best place in the world, basically. And I agree. I agree with him on it. Yeah, look, guys, I'm in like the best place in the world. Why would you want to travel somewhere else? People from other parts of the world come here for vacation. It's like, am I going to go to the Jersey Shore for vacation? No. No, I'm not going to Canada. I'm not going to Oregon. I'm not going to Idaho. I'm sorry. I love you, XB Jeffy and Little Fire One. I'm not going to Idaho, guys. I'm not going anywhere. Why? I'm in the best place you could be. And it's not even that many people now because everyone's gone back up north. So I love it. XB Jeffy, I watched this video today. XB Jeffy, basically, man, in Idaho, they still don't like rap music. Idaho's like 2 centuries behind where like they get upset if you play rap music. That's what happened in today's video. XB Jeffy says someone looked at you, shouldn't have been in a bar though, brother. You gotta get out of the bar. But you're still young, you're in 26. And then so that was one of the things he talked about in this video. The other thing he talked about was he made the great point that now the people in Idaho are just starting to see the sun. So everyone gets complacent. Like, oh, Idaho isn't that bad. They did the same thing in New Jersey. And it took me a couple years in my 30s to kind of figure out this is a scam. Because it gets a little bit nice, for a couple months. And then winter comes again. But what I found is I don't even like fall. I don't like spring. I like endless summer. So, but XB Jeffy, stick to your plan. Because you have a good plan to do it responsibly. Remember, I stayed in New Jersey for 2 extra years so I could do it responsibly and transfer my job. So do it responsibly because you're always going to need income. Don't make a desperate move. But I'm glad that you're making the mental note that Idaho's, it's a disaster now, but it's a little bit less of a disaster because you actually saw the sun today for the first time in 8 months. And so but he wasn't complacent. And that you're a smart guy. And that's why you shouldn't be in no damn bar, man. Definitely not in Idaho. At least, be in a bar in San Diego, man. You know how much better the girls gonna look in San Diego? Idaho? What a disaster, guys. All right, but let's stay positive. XB Jeffy, I love you, man. You're a smart guy. You got a big future ahead of you, man, because you're good with the YouTube videos. I think you're underrated, but you got to be consistent. So don't get discouraged when you only see like a couple people watch your channel because, look, you just got back in the game. So you're going to have to do it for like 8 months straight before, you start to see 100 views plus per video. But you can do it. Just stay consistent. Keep your game plan. Keep living below your means. Do things responsibly. It's all going to work out. Apathy. Hey, Sam. Thank you again, Apathy. Curious, do you think it's doable to go from campsite to campsite on the East Coast all summer? Yes, definitely. I mean, I do that to some extent. I stayed at campsite this week, but only for 2 days. So, there's free boondocking too. If you can work remotely, if you're on Social Security, if you're on disability, if you're in something where you have a good enough income, where you don't need to be in a fixed location for a job, then definitely. Oh, without a doubt. But you have to figure in the cost because like if you're going to pay for a campground, then you have to evaluate which campgrounds and how much they're going to cost and budget, and then your gas, and then putting groceries there, and doesn't have Wi-Fi and all those things. Now, I like to, even when I'm at a campground, I don't like to go to remote campgrounds because I like to be by infrastructure. I like to be by Planet Fitness. I like to be by Starbucks because I still like to go out during the day. I don't, even when I stay at campgrounds, it's just for a safe, legal place to park. I don't like stay at the campground all day and then just like sit in my car, walk around. I just use it for a place to park, basically. So, but everyone's different with that. But you could, again, if you were a Florida resident and you were disabled, which I think you're on disability, if you showed that paperwork to the state park, you get 50% off. So you could stay there all month, or you could stay there for 2 weeks, go to another state park, and you spend $400 a month. So, most state parks minimum are going to be like $26, most of them, and that's cheap. I looked today at a RV park. One RV park with no discounts, just like in a nice area, was like $600 a month. So that's not bad. But that would be for an official RV. You'd be a tent camper if you're going to be out of the van or something like that. But it's definitely doable. But you have to do the research. That's what we talked about last night. If you're going to live this life, you have to learn to be adaptive. And being adaptive requires a person who knows how to research online, knows how to use their phone, knows how to use Google Maps, and is very adaptive with that, because you have to count on you. You can't send like Bob Wells a private message, or even me, like, and say, well, what do I do here? What do I do there? Because it's, ultimately, you have to just be and you can do it. People often undersell their intelligence. I used to work with a guy, and he wasn't good in certain areas, but in certain areas he was very smart, and he always used to talk down to himself. I said, man, don't talk down to yourself, man. You're smart. I said, you just do it. So what I could tell you is, guys, look, it's very easy to Google something. You don't even have to know how to spell. Just use voice recognition. Just say, hey, Google, where's the nearest Planet Fitness? And so developing that confidence and starting, and again, I think, start in your state. Go to a couple campgrounds in your state and go for a weekend, and then go for a week in your state, okay, 30 miles away or 60 miles away from your home base, and then see how much that costs you, and then see how you like it, and then branch out from there, and then go further and further, and then eventually you cut the cord. But that's how I did it. I did that when I still had a home in New Jersey. So you gradually build your way up, just like everything in life. You go in the gym, you don't go in the gym and you throw like 245s on each side and start bench pressing. That's how you pinch a nerve. That's what I did. You have to gradually build your endurance up, and just like the gym, just like life, it's all about consistency. If you go in the gym like a madman after January, which most people did, the gym was packed January, February. No one's in the gym anymore, guys. No one's signing up. It's empty because everyone has given up on their New Year's resolutions. And so it's like the same thing. You apply that mindset of whether it's working out or living a different lifestyle, is that it's all about consistency. You're going to fail. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have off days. But with an overall mindset of, you want to kind of gradually build your way up, then be consistent, and then you take a big leap here and there. And then, you fail and you adjust and you keep going. And then progressively over time, you just build your confidence and you build momentum and you just fail forward. So that's what I would tell you. And then she goes, June and October, the 14-day limit scares me also. Is that affordable? Depending, like I said, there's discounts for certain people. But at minimum, like I said, you need to clear $2,000 a month to live on the road. That's my opinion. So if you're not clearing $2,000 a month on the road, it doesn't matter what your living situation is. You're in poverty, in my opinion. Because here's the numbers, guys. If you make $10 an hour and you work 40 hours a week for a month, that's $1,600 pre-tax. So if someone, if they're on Social Security, if they're on some type of an investment fund or whatever, if you're making less than take home $2,000 a month, you're making less than $10 an hour. So I don't think you can live in any situation like that well, and pay for gas and pay for maintenance and pay for campgrounds and pay for the different things that come up in life. So I think, living cheap is good because it's about living below your means. But if sometimes the mindset is let me live cheap, meaning let me just look at my expenses. But you have to look at your income, because income is a part of quality of life. And there's people, you see some, I don't know, I see some people on YouTube. I don't see anybody out here living well that's making less than $2,000 a month. I've seen people try it, and I've seen people say they do. I see people that are homeless, probably they're making less than $2,000 a month. But that's not the type of lifestyle that I would recommend, especially for someone, because that's how you get vulnerable. Guys, if you get out here and you don't recognize the need for money, and then you get out here, you're gonna realize how vulnerable you are. And that's why, like, if you're not in a good physical or mental health or financial health, I don't recommend someone live this lifestyle. Why? Because this lifestyle requires a lot of movement, a lot of adapting, and there's a lack of stability. So some people have private messaged me and they got upset with me, but they got mental problems. But they basically tried it, and then one day, like, they had a bad experience at a park, and they got flustered and they went back home because they're the type of person. My sister's like that. They need to be in a fixed location with fixed routines. Any variables will mess up their life. Their whole life is centered around a routine. So you have to know thyself. And so if you are very much a routine orientated person, that you don't do good with change, then I don't want to tell anyone that they can't do it, because ultimately everyone's an adult. They should do whatever they want as long as what they're doing is not hurting anyone. But you have to be honest and say, look, this life requires a lot of movement. It requires money. To do it well, to do anything well, requires money. I can never lie about that. And you have to kind of like do the research and then being excited to do it. Because I think anything in life, if you're not, you're going to be scared. There's nothing in life you're going to do that you're not going to be scared. Taking a new job, going out for a date, whatever you do in life, you're always going to be scared. I remember doing a youth conference, and I picked up some girl I knew to speak. She had like a testimony to speak at this conference, and she was a famous person, and she had traveled basically the world. And I asked her, I said, do you still get scared speaking? And first she said no, and then we had got to the place where she was going to speak, and she goes, Sam, I lied. She goes, I still get scared when I have to get ready to speak. But she was very passionate about what she did and sharing her life. So it's like the same thing with this lifestyle. You're going to get scared. But if you're not encouraged more, and if you're not excited more than your fear, then you're not going to overcome your fear. So you have to have something in you that you're tired of your current setup. You've done some research, you've done some planning, you've counted the cost. Like the scripture says, don't start something until you've counted the cost. So you figured out a traveling route, you figured out how much it's going to cost to move, how much it's going to cost to, and you have a rough estimate. It may not be exact, but you have a rough estimate. You've counted the cost, you've done the research, and now you're going to pull the trigger. And you're inspired enough to do it to push past your fear. And so that's kind of the overall general template of doing it. There's no one answer. I often say, like, life is not an exact science. It's a little bit of an art form. So I give you some basic structure around the mindset, around the focus, around the details, and then you just kind of go from there. Good job. I'm a travel man. You are at 77 degrees Fahrenheit, and we are at 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, damn, it's magical in South Florida. I love you, brother. Good to see you. Tom. Hey, Tom. What's up, man? I'm sorry to hear about Tom broke both his wrists. I read that comment, and now his wife is being a caretaker. But let's read. Tom says, hey, Sam, I've broken my wrist. I heard that he did that mountain biking. But I can still walk outside. Well, that's positive. Every day in beautiful Utah. Well, love and respect to you. I know a lot of people who like Utah. And I liked your comment. He left a comment on my other video. He said, Sam, I broke both my wrists mountain biking, and my wife has been taking care of me. She's good about it now, but he said, I know after 8 weeks of doing it, I will become a burden. And that's true. Guys, after a certain amount of caretaking, we are a burden. There's no way around that. It doesn't matter how loving the person is. I remember there was a lady, a widow, getting interviewed by Larry King like 10 years ago. And this was one of the things that stood out in my life. And I forgot who her husband was, but her husband was famous. And Larry King had asked her, like, how she dealt with the death of her husband. And she goes, well, I'm going to tell you something that not a lot of people will, but I think it will help. He goes, to be honest with you, it was a relief. Because after taking care of him it was like a couple years of him suffering in bad health, she goes, it was, to be totally honest with you, it became a burden. And it was very hard for me not to be resentful. She goes, I know a lot of people will judge me for that. But I want to be honest because I think it will help someone else, and I think that's true. I think if after a long enough period of time being a caretaker, there's resentment, and that's why I think in certain situations you need a professional caretaker so you can spend your own time outside and your own time living your own life so that then you can come back recharged. Now, this isn't that type of situation. Look, Tom just broke his wrist mountain biking, and so those will heal. That's not a long-term thing, but he even noted that. I think it's well to be noted. So, brother, hope you keep healing, keep going for a walk, because that's you say, oh, both of my wrists are broke, like there's an excuse to stay inside. Well, no, you can still go for a walk. And even though I don't wish anyone to have broken bones, but it's better that you go for a walk than you sit indoors all day, because then you're gonna have bad physical and bad mental health. Because what I can tell you is when you're indoors all day for consecutive days in a row, you're gonna have bad mental health. You're gonna get depressed. You're gonna feel bad about yourself. You're gonna feel bad about life. And that's why you want to make outdoor living embedded in your daily routine and make that part of a lifestyle in some way, whether you live in Utah or Florida or even New Jersey. Look, even when I was in New Jersey, when I started changing my life, it was part of my routine. And I would be out there bundled up no matter what season it was. And that's facts. And people who know me, they'll testify to it. So I remember, like, even at work, during my morning break and during lunchtime, I'd go and I'd walk outside the office building. And everyone at that office had knew me when I was 350 pounds, when I was morbidly obese. And they go, and when I started losing weight, and no one really noticed it in the beginning because it was just a few pounds, but then over time, and again, just stop eating out. You'll drop 50 pounds. If you're obese, you'll drop 50 pounds just when you stop eating out. Bring your lunch to work. And so I would walk outside, and one of my coworkers said, "Sam, I saw you walking outside today." And I was just like, damn, I can't believe that was you, because it was just like last year, he looked like a different person. And again, that's just part of getting outside during your lunch break, during your morning coffee break. When you're getting your health together and it's Friday and your boss, your manager tries to do a nice gesture by buying everyone Dunkin' Donuts, you know what you do? Say, I don't want any. Okay? I don't want an egg white omelet. I don't want the free pizza at lunch that's being catered. I don't want it. And when you start declining free food at work, that's when you're serious. And you go outside for a walk instead. But for a lot of people, they cave. They're, oh shit, it's free. And I like free, guys. But some things have a higher price when they're free. And free pizza has a high price on your health. Free Dunkin' Donuts has a high price on your health. Free Dairy Queen on the first day of summer has a high price on your health. Look, I know a girl that's beautiful. She got an eating disorder though too, but she loves free Dairy Queen the first day of the summer. So just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy, guys. Okay, you could have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and you could have poor nutrition. Your weight does play a part, but your weight is not necessarily your health. Now, would I rather date an obese girl or a girl that's on the skinny side with an eating disorder? Well, I don't want to date anyone. Apathy, thank you again for the super chat. I hope I answered your question. I answered it as truthfully as I could. Apathy. My cat ended up owning me. Yeah, that's what happens. My dog too, and I love my dog, but that's true. Good comment. But he was better company. I agree with that. Than most humans, I agree with that. So I didn't mind. Well, Apathy, me and you on the same page. I just saw a service dog in Starbucks, and they were sitting next to me, and they asked, "Is it too rude to sit my dog next to you?" So no, I'd rather sit next to a dog than a human. So I said, nothing wrong with that. Let's take a hydration break. Guys, again, if you come in, I appreciate you clicking the thumbs up button. I appreciate it. I'm a travel van. Older homes have higher ceilings. It makes me want to throw up thinking about a home. Because they had that's a good point, though. They had no air conditioning back then. I didn't know that. That's a good point, travel van. Thank you. Dennis. One of the best healers that I've come to appreciate is the rain falling asleep. I know you feel likewise. I do. And if you're car camping, you're definitely it's definitely magical. You hear the rain, you feel the wind, and I like that. So yeah, I mean, I sleep like a baby, so I agree. Dennis, outdoors in your vehicle, yeah, amplifies the effect. Yep, I just said that. I totally agree. That's an excellent point. Now it takes a while, guys. So that comes not in the beginning. In the beginning, it's like starting a new job. You don't feel amazing the first day. You got to get through the first couple months, okay? And for some people, look, they're not going to like it. There's plenty of channels I see out there that people start it and then they say, you know what, this life isn't for me after 8 months or whatever. So, guys, there's no guarantee. Okay, there's no guarantee for anything in life. So you have to accept the fact that it may or may not work. You should do some research. You should count the cost, and then you should make a decision. Because procrastination is not good. But have a backup plan, guys. You have to say, look, again, there's nothing, if you already have a house or if you already have an apartment or lease, there's nothing stopping you from taking weekend camping trips or taking a week vacation and going trying it. But let's say you tried it for weekends or camping trips, took some vacation time. Then you got to say, all right, what happens if I cut the cord? What happens if I end my lease or if I sell my house and it doesn't work out? Let me count the cost. Could I get a similar apartment for a similar price? Do I want to be in this exact area? Or even if it doesn't work out, like I remember I worked with a guy and our company was being bought out, and he had an opportunity to get a job transfer to move to San Francisco area. And he said, Sam, I'm going to take the job transfer. I said, really, during the merger? And he goes, yeah. He goes, because I thought about it, and he goes, you know what, if I can get the job transfer, and even if they eliminate my position, he goes, I end up living where I want to live. And he goes, then I'll just get another job out there. And he goes, but now's the time to, reposition my life. And so, like, that's what you have to think. Like, if you're in this lifestyle as a transition to change states, like XB Jeffy is, like I was, then you have to say, all right, you've counted all the cost, you've counted your income, you've counted your expenses, you projected a budget, and then like you have to figure, like, even if you move to this different state and it doesn't work out, what's the worst case scenario? Then you have to get an apartment there, or you have to get a house there. If that's already where you want to live, that's a win. Okay, so you should look at the area that you're thinking of spending most of the time. If you're not going to just travel endlessly, the area you're thinking of spending most of your time, look at apartments, look at cheap houses or whatever you want to do, and figure, well, look, if it doesn't work out, I'll be spending the same thing as rent in Florida than I would as Massachusetts. So if that's the case, then all you do is you end up in the same budgetary situation, but now you're in a state that you want to be. So I think that's how you should look at it and count the cost on, what the worst case scenario would be. I'm a traveler man. Yes, complainers they just complain about just one thing. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, complainers always have something to complain about. I talk to my mom sometimes, and this past winter she had rented a place for her and my sister, and it was a nice place. And she goes, Sam, the whole time we were there, all she did was complain, and it was a nice apartment. And you can give someone everything they ask for, they'll still complain. It's a mindset. It's an unthankful person. I don't care if there's a disorder there or whatever. It's bad character. So what I could tell you is I don't want to be around those people. I positioned my life. Part of me downsizing was cutting people off, okay? Family members, friends, people, okay? So I think you make a big mistake if you downsize and you just look at your clothes and you don't look at your relationships. I can't tell you how many people come in here. Relationships are the number one cause of stress. How many people come in here after a divorce, or how many people come in here and they're enabling a codependent lover, and they think it's going to change, but it ain't going to change. And I don't wish that upon them, but this is my real life experience tells me. And what they do is they end up in their 60s or 70s, and they say, look, my life's almost over. I got one more shot to walk away from this unhealthy relationship, and I'm finally built up enough strength to do it because I'm totally disgusted. But then what they don't realize is the energy levels are not as sharp, and they may be able to do it for a few years, but what they're going to say is I wasted most of my life. But you have to take accountability because it takes two to tango. What is behind an unhealthy relationship? Two people that were willing to put up with it. Because guess what? A relationship cannot continue without your permission. All you have to do is change your number and move out. But if you're depending on someone for financial, emotional, whatever type of support, that's on you. And I don't care if you're outdoor living or indoor living, you're in a prison. You're in a mental prison. You're in an unhealthy situation. Relationships are the number one cause of stress, even above money. And what I could tell you is, you live by yourself, you're better off. in many instances. So let's continue to read. Casey, hey Casey, hand wave emoji to you. I watched some of your videos. What was the video I watched? I watched a couple of your videos, and they were older ones. I tried to figure out your mindset. But love to you, and I did check your channel out. So good to see you. Journey with Jordan. Saw a Class A today with a full awning on both sides. I had to check myself and remember what a disaster a rig like that would be. Yeah, Nomadic Fanatic couldn't even get his thing to close. Then I watched Nomadic Fanatic deal with a broken slide out. Yeah, look, a Class A is if you have a family or if it's that what you want to do. Even a Class C, I like the Class Cs. Most people like the Class C. But the problem is, if something goes wrong with the motor, it's all one piece. Like people like me, we like the Class C because you don't have to tow anything. But the bad news is, if your motor goes bad, your house is going in the car shop with it. And so you're better off in many instances with a travel trailer. If you wanted to go RV, it's the cheapest way, because if your car can get serviced at any car dealership, you can unhitch, and you still have good gas mileage. But it does. But the negative is you do have to tow something and sort of work it to unhitch it and hitch it. So look, I mean, for me, I think the best way for most people would be to get a van, not a Class B, not a Class C, not a camper van, just a regular van. Put a mattress back there, and then when you stay at a campground, you run an extension cord to an AC unit. So like right now, I can't fit an air conditioning unit in my Jeep, or else I could hook it up to electrical hookups at the campground. But if I had a van, I could fit one in there no problem, and that's what I would do. And you can buy a regular, like a Ford Transit or whatever, for a brand new one for just about $20,000. If you got a couple of years used, you can get into the teens. So that's a third of the price of a Class B or Class C. And for most people in this lifestyle, money is an issue. Money is always an issue, but it's definitely an issue for a lot of people. So, again, part of living a simple life is living financially free. So I think a van, and like traveling van, he's living in a minivan, and he's fully content. He's got like a little AC hookup. Man, look, you're better off in that type of setup. And then if there's extreme weather, to go into a hotel room or something like that, and you still end up with more money at the end of the year than you would if you bought, an $80,000 Class B or Class C, that you can't drive anywhere, that you get bad fuel efficiency. But again, there's exceptions, and everyone should do whatever they want. But in general speaking terms, I think a van would take care of most people's needs. That, again, is if you're a single person, okay, or maybe you got a relationship. But if you got kids, okay, if you have things like that, you need the indoors, okay? Because what do you need the indoors for? I mean, you need some type of controlled heating and cooling. Same thing with a pet. Now, I'm not saying there's not other ways to do it. But look, you couldn't be in the summer heat and have two kids in the van baking. I mean, come on, I guess you could, but I don't know, man. I don't know. And there's different ways. There was a season, well, I was about to say, like, growing up, there was a season where our air conditioning didn't work, but then we just bought like window units, and we put new window units in. So, look, you have to evaluate your situation. But some people are delusional. But you have to think about that. You have to think about it. Tom, happy birthday. Cassie, happy birthday to you. Thank you. Roy, I got a PhD in cutting people off. Well, that's the best degree you ever got. And that's the only one that won't leave you in college debt for a bunch of nothing. So good job, Rory. I can tell you did a great job there. Journey with Jordan, thank you again, man. I appreciate the super chat. Good to see you, brother. I hope you're feeling better again. Good to see you. Forgive me, guys, if I'm not wilding out a little bit too much. It's because I'm outdoors, and I don't want to talk too crazy because I want to respect my environment. But love to you. Let me just click this here. Journey with Jordan. I'm saving up for Dave Ramsey Solutions custom license plate. What a disaster. Yeah, Journey with Jordan's from Tennessee, man. I hear you, brother. I hear you. It's crazy. Andy G. Hey, Andy G. How are you, brother? Good to see you, man. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to boot my laptop so I can log into this thing here. Andy G. Hey, brother. How you doing? Hope all's been well. I've been super busy. Had an unexpected job change. Things a little hectic. I can understand that at the moment, but everything is falling in place. Well, there you go, guys. Look, if you fall, you get back up. and you get right back in the workforce as soon as possible. If you need the money, and most people need the money. If you don't need the money, then hey, do you. But what I could tell you is get back in the workforce as soon as possible, because the number one thing that the employer looks at on your resume is the gaps in your resume. So if you took 2 years out of the workforce, the employer is going to say, well, what have you been doing for the past 2 years? And most people are going to get very insecure. They're going to lash out at them, and they're not going to get the job. Now, here's something for all the complainers out there. Look, well, you could DoorDash. We got to have a driver's license, and you got to have some mental capacity, because a lot of people, there's no job interview. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be around forever, but I signed up for it. I did a month worth on YouTube, and depending on where you live, you could DoorDash. There's no job interview. You could Uber. You could do different things. You're probably still going to be making $10 to $15 an hour. You can do that without any type of job interview, without any long-term resume. I mean, you got to have a good driver's license. You got to be insured. You're going to put wear and tear on your car. But there's ways to do things. But the worst thing you can do is nothing. And whether we're talking about work, or whether we're talking about anything. Now, look, there's a season in your life where you get hurt and you got to heal. And there's a season of your life you get burnt out. Or there may be a season of your life where you've gained financial independence, whether it's through some type of settlement or something, and you don't need to work. It's fine. But you have to engage life and not have long moments and long seasons of sedentary nothingness. Because what's going to destroy your physical and mental health is you taking a long period off of everything and doing nothing. Because we're not meant to do nothing. Our bodies are meant to be used. Our minds are meant to be used. I think where people get burnt out, which I did, you may get burnt out in a corporate world, and you're doing the corporate world just so you can pay for a bunch of stuff that doesn't even inspire you. But you have to be careful not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, meaning that your lifestyle is not what inspired you, and it made you resent your job more. So if you cut your expenses, you still need income, but then maybe you can do more things that inspire you to make income. And you can live more on your terms. But there's always a part of life that you have to do some things you don't want to do. Look, guys, I wake up in the morning. I push myself to wake up somewhat very early so I can get ahead of the game. I have a healthy breakfast, and then I go to the gym. There's really not any morning. I like going to the gym, but I have to push myself. And so I have to do laundry sometimes. I have to shower. There's some things in the day that you're not going to want to do, but you have to do, okay? Champions do what they have to do, even if they don't want to do it all the time. So if you only do stuff that you 100% want to do, what you're going to do is wake up late every day, not go to the gym, have bad hygiene, and then you're going to feel bad about yourself at midnight because you didn't do shit all day. Part of a champion, part of someone who pushes forward, is they do some things they don't want to do. Okay, that's part of life, guys. That's part of being an adult, okay? And so if you don't want to do some things that you don't want to do, what you're going to do is live a miserable life. And so you have to just accept the fact that, look, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to wake up early. I don't want to go to work. But I know for me to be in an overall good place, I have to discipline myself a little bit. Because there's certain things I need in my life. I need to keep my body active. I need to keep income. I need to keep my body moving. I need to do laundry. I need to hygiene. There's certain things you need to do, guys. Okay, you can't just binge watch Netflix and masturbate about buying a Class B and traveling, and you haven't even took a shower or worked out. You're not going to live a healthy life, guys. So make a mental note. Good to see you, Andy G. Good to have you, brother. Always appreciate you, man. Prayer emoji to you. Poker Pro A6. Hey, man. Good to see you. How do you feel about those Class B RVs you showed in your recent videos? Do you think you could ever see yourself in one of those? I think I could, but at an older stage, and I think I would probably lean towards getting a van, like I just mentioned a little bit previous, and just running an extension. Because really, if I had a Class B, I would still shower at Planet Fitness. Okay, I would only really use the Class B for an air conditioning, because it's going to be just as comfortable, but put a twin mattress in the back of a van. So I'm not really a big cooker. I'm not really I'd rather not shower in a tight shower that I have to worry about the hot water heater and being hooked up, when I could just go to Planet Fitness. I want to go to Planet Fitness either way, because I want to work out a little bit each day, right? So Planet Fitness is part of my routine because either way, I want to get a light workout in each day. So if I'm ready at Planet Fitness, why wouldn't I use the state-of-the-art showers rather than a tight-ass Class B where I have to be hooked up to utilities? So it's like I don't gain anything. I'm not a cooker, so I don't gain anything with the only thing I gain is air conditioning that I would use. Now, some people are different. Some people want to cook. Some people don't want to go to Planet Fitness. So, but for me to buy, I like some of them on the cheaper side. I wouldn't want to spend more than 70,000. Even that though is too much. Well, let's just say I got one for 65. I think I'd be better off spending 30,000 on a bigger van and putting air conditioning in it, running extension cord to it at campground. How I see my life playing out, again, everything can change, is I keep my Renegade till I'm 4. Tomorrow I'll be 39. I want to keep my Renegade till I'm 45. So that's about another 6 years. And then from 45 to 55, I get a Prius because that gives me good fuel efficiency if I'm still on the road and allows me to run my AC at night, even though my car will kick on at times, but it's like a generator. And then 55 at 60, as my body gets older, as your body gets older, even if you take good care of it, your energy starts to die, you need more comfort. Then maybe I will look at a van, and then maybe look at an RV towards once I get into my 60s or 70s. Because once I get into my 70s, obviously, if I live that long and I'm healthy, then I'm going to be, probably either renting an RV lot, buying an RV lot, or staying at campgrounds. And I'm going to be stationary. I'm not going to be moving as much as I move now. So I could see progressively as I get older, I'm going to be more stationary. And two, as you get older, you're going to want to spend less time on the road. Even people who have a house and they're older, they said, I don't want to drive at night. I don't want to drive. So, again, I'll be 39 tomorrow. So for next till 45, I want to try to keep this car. I like the Renegade. I really, and then after that, probably get a Prius. And then in my 50s and 60s, once I get to my 60s, then I'll start looking at vans or RVs. Now, all that can change tomorrow, and I can say, look, I want an RV tomorrow, and I'll buy that. The best thing about this lifestyle is I got so many options that tomorrow I can choose anything. But I could choose anything tomorrow, but then I could wake up the next day and regret it. I've been there too. I'll never forget the day I bought a Range Rover, at least a Range Rover to impress a girl. As soon as I bought it, I regretted it. So, I've been down that road too where you make mistakes. That's part of life. But right now, I'm evaluating. I look at home bases. I look at RVs. I like to make those videos. The masses want to see those videos. The masses don't want to really just hear me ramble. They want to see tutorials of RVs. And I like to look at them. But right now, it's just not cost effective. It's not cost effective for most people. It's a luxury more than a necessity. Land tends to appreciate, but what land appreciates, but an RV gives you flexibility. But if you have an RV, the whole purpose of having an RV is so that you can have the amenities. To have the amenities, you have to be in a campground that has hookups. So, right, so like, you're boondocking, yeah, you could have solar, you can run a generator, but that's not my style. And that's not cost effective either because it takes a long time to get a return on that investment. Most people who overdo it on solar or this, they never get the return on their investment, most of them. So for right now, that's how I see it playing out. Good question, Dennis. Here's a smile. I turned 62 on the 12th. Well, brother, happy early birthday to you. I can tell you without a doubt, I have much higher sense of urgency. Well, you should. You're closer to death. And sometimes, even when I'm not expecting it, that's good. I'm a doer. There you go. Laughing good. I love you, brother. I love you too. Average life expectancy is 80. For a male in the United States, it's actually 76. For a woman, I think it's 80. So I just rounded up when I say 80. But actually, for a male, it's like 76. So what I could tell you is none of us, whether you're 39, 62, 16, you will never be younger than you are right now. Every day your body dies, your cells deteriorate. And so should that scare you? No. Should that put limitations on you? No, but you have to be conscious. You have to live with urgency and you have to be honest in your evaluation. You can't say, hey, look, I'm 62, I want to be a stripper. Can you? You can, but it's not wise, okay? So now, even if you're 16, you probably don't want to do that. But, look, guys, it's a little bit of a joke, but it's a little bit of a serious thing. Michael Jordan right now, as great as player as he was, can he play in the NBA? No. Why? Because of his age. He can go and he can work out like a madman, and he's got all the God-given skills. But no matter how much Michael Jordan tries, and he tried for a while, remember when he was playing for the Washington Wizards? No matter how hard he tries, he'll never be Michael Jordan from the Chicago Bulls 23. He just can't. He can't turn back time. Time is against all of us, guys. And no one beats Father Time. So what I could tell you is live with urgency, live responsibly. But if you have an opportunity to change your life, if you have an opportunity to move states, if you have the health, if you have the vigor, if you have the resources, make the change. Because what I could tell you is you don't get too many times in life. Annie G. Let's take a hydration break. Thank you for the comments, guys. Thank you for clicking the thumbs up. Thank you, Snow Panther. Thank you, Apathy. And thank you, Journey with Jordan, for Super Chat. Annie G. I'm actually camping 3 days of the work week to be close to the job. Well, there you go. And that's what this lifestyle gives you. Flexibility, guys. You can work anywhere. You have to change states to get a different job. All you got to do is start your car and go. You have to work overtime. All you have to do is stay in your car that night. A lot of times if you're working overtime or if you have to work around the clock, a lot of times jobs will let you stay at the site. Like I saw today at Planet Fitness, they're hiring. The past couple Planet Fitnesses I went to, they had a big sign outside said now hiring. Guys, you can make $10 an hour or more working at Planet Fitness. You could work the night shift and you don't even have to worry about where you're going to park at night. So there is a lot of options. Now, again, if you're single or if you can budget something in and you can responsibly do it, but there's options out there, guys. Annie G says he spends 3 nights of work to be close to the restaurant. 3 nights camping to be close to work. I stay at home and I'm able to catch the ride in. Yep, I agree, brother. Good job. John Suttles. Hey, John. Good to see you, brother. Peace to you, brother. Love to Boston. I'm tough. Indoor life equals obesity. I can testify to that and say amen. Why? Because I was obese. And I spent most of my time indoors when I was. I started to get my health together when I went outdoors, so I totally agree. Snow Panther from Minnesota. Well, brother, I love you and I appreciate you, but Minnesota's no wonder your name's Snow Panther. We had a couple people in here from Minnesota. We have one girl from here, a mother, Vicky, from Minnesota. She's getting ready to move to Florida, I think, next year. And she's counting down the days because Minnesota is a disaster as far as the cold weather. But some people like the cold weather, so I don't want to be disrespectful. But for me, yeah, Minnesota, total disaster. But what's the temperature right now in Minnesota? Thank you again, Snow Panther. Annie G. So it's crunch time. I'm putting in a lot of hours. Well, there you go. And we'll be moving when my lease is up closer to the job. Well, there you go. Look, use your flexibility. It's your greatest asset. And seize the moment of your life. Good job. Jones. Hey, Jones. Who's that? Martin. Martin on the Super Chat. Martin says, time is our most valuable resource. And wasting it is crazy. Well, I totally agree, Martin. Thank you for the Super Chat. Thank you for the love. Guys, urgency and realizing that time is precious is key to life. And I think if nothing else sets a fire under your ass, and that's why I always say it. That's why I always say the average life expectancy is. That's why I always tell you when you get older, it gets harder. Not because I want to be mean. I know a lot of times people want to make me out as the bad guy, but because I want you to really be. I think about that often. There's a scripture that says it's better to think about death than the day you were born. Why? Steve Jobs said that on one of his things. Like, look, if he wasn't diagnosed with cancer, he wouldn't have as much urgency. And so you have to remember that, that you're not going to live forever in this world. And so I totally agree, Martin. You should always remember that. Everyone out there, I know I always make a mental note of that. So thank you, brother. Thank you for all those who gave us super chats. Really appreciate it. Love to you. Peace to you. And thank you. Jones, 1963. Hey, Sam. I went for a 1.5-mile walk tonight. Good job. Guys, every hour you should get up and walk for 10 minutes. You don't have to run. You don't have to sprint. Every hour you should at least get up and stretch. If your body sits for more than an hour, your blood gets stagnant and you're not good. So she went for a 1.5-mile walk. Good job. Lovely night here. Well, where are you at? Where are you at, Jones? May your birthday be blessed tomorrow. Well, thank you. Thank you for all those people who wish me a happy birthday. I'll probably do a video tomorrow about a birthday. One of my managers used to always ask me. He goes, every birthday he would ask everyone. He goes, what did you learn this last year being alive? And so I'll probably do a reflection video on that. I remember last year I did a video on my birthday, And I think I talked about time and life expectancy, and that's what really I was focused on. And last year, this time, I just got a remote position. I was still living in New Jersey, but I had everything ready to jump off and just about totally moved to Florida. I was just buttoning up some loose ends in New Jersey. So a year changes a lot, and sometimes people put off their dreams because they say, oh, it's going to take me 2 years to move to Florida. It's going to take me 2 years to do this. It took me 2 years. But what that should do is you got to break the big goal down in small steps, and you got to take one step at a time. And either way, time is going to pass. So either way, the time is going to pass. So you might as well say, look, even if it takes a long time to achieve what I want, the time keeps passing. So just what can I do today? And then tomorrow, what can I do today? And then tomorrow, what can I do today? And each day you just keep building on itself. And that's how you push forward. Thank you, Jones. Backwoods. Shout out to the rainy state of Oregon. Hey, Sammy. I hope all's well, brother. I hope all's well with you. Also, always glad to see you, Lavo, brother. Good to have you. I'm sorry it's been nonstop rain for you, but you're about to be on your journey to being. What are you doing? A pickup truck camping? And have you decided if you're gonna go where you're gonna go initially? Jeremy Jordan. Yes, I'm back in the Prius now. You got the good vehicle. Much to the dismay of my mother. Well, I can understand mothers worry. My mom worried too. Well, I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell my father. I didn't tell anyone. I just did it because I said, look, I'm middle-aged. I work and I live by myself. I said, look, I got to do what's best for me. And I know it wasn't easy for my mom, but I think my mom's old and I think she knows who I am. And she said, Sam, look, I'm not going to give you a lot. Because when she found out and she confronted me, she saw where I was at mentally. And she kind of saw if she was going to give me a lot of shit, I wasn't going to take it. And that's what my father did. My father gave me a lot of shit and I didn't take it. And I cut him off. Because, guys, I'm a middle-aged man, okay? So I'm not hurting my parents by doing anything. They have a right to worry, but they don't have a right to put their emotional burdens on me, okay? So when you have kids, I hope you don't want to control them their whole life. And I hope that when you help them, you don't hold that over your head, because that's what my father did. When my father found out, he didn't tell me Sam, I'm worried about you. He just said, why didn't you tell me you sold your house? You got to give me back the $5,000 I lent you when you had got your house. And even though he had told me, I went to pay him back a year after I got my house, I borrowed money from him. I went to pay him back. He said, no, you don't have to pay me back. You're my son. So he got real spiteful because I didn't tell him. And the first thing he brought up was something I totally forgot about, because I remember confronting him. He brought up owing him $5,000. So I said, shit, you know what? I wrote him a check for $5,000 and I changed my number and I never talked to him again. And I never will. I mean, there's various other things that, I can go on and on about my father. I made certain videos about it. But the bottom line is I had that mindset was whoever it was that wasn't going to accept me at this point in my life, I was done living my life for other people. Whether it's my mother, a friend, a coworker, whoever, I am at the point where I'm done living my life for other people because it brought resentment. I'm not going to live my life for my pastor. I'm not going to live my life for people on YouTube. I'm not going to live my life for my mother. I got to live my life for me, guys. And whoever can't get on board, you getting thrown overboard in my life. Not literally, but in my life space, I'm not going to put up with it. And like I say, who was in here? Corey, I think he said he got a PhD in cutting people off. Brother, I'm the master professor at that, man. Love to you. And then she goes, yes, Backwoods goes, Prius now, much to the dismay of his mother, who daydreams about the RV life. What a disaster. Let's stay positive. Good job. Thanks for asking, brother. Stay healthy, man. Love to you. Your health is your wealth, man. Cassie, I hate TV now. Well, Cassie, me and you on the same page of that. Throw that TV out the window. Florida Yeti. Happy birthday, Sam. Thank you. I wish you the best. Hold on. I'm sorry. Florida Yeti goes, I wish you the best. You are amazing. Thank you. I like your videos. Thank you, Florida Yeti. I appreciate that. My fellow Floridian. Tony, how's life? Tony, good to see you, brother. Saxophone emoji to you. Tony plays the saxophone. He's from Maryland. Shout out to Maryland, all the crab cakes out there. Annie G, oh man, just seeing it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, brother. Thank you, but I appreciate that. I'll probably make a video tomorrow about it. But thank you, Annie G. I love you, brother. You've always been a positive person. I pray that your health and your job continue to improve and that you just keep pushing forward. Keep showing up, brother. Journey with Jordan. Fine line between complacency and contentment. I agree with that. Everything in life is a fine line. Martin Lawrence had the movie called Thin Line Between Love and Hate, and I like that movie. And so, and everyone has a different interpretation of balance. Some people look at my life and they say it's out of balance, but for me, it's very much balanced. But as an adult, you have to determine what that line is, okay? And you have to take ownership of your life, and you have to be bold enough to say, look, if what I'm doing is not hurting anyone, I'm not asking for approval, guys. And you have to be willing to cut people off. When I cut my father off, I walked away from probably a $200,000-300,000 inheritance. Okay. Now I could have played the game. I know how to play the game. So there's certain points in life where you may have to walk away from money. You're financially secure and you're codependent to your lover because you depend on their money, and you didn't want to work your whole life. That's on you, guys. You want to live that life? You want to buy a house and then have your friend come work on it, and then you got to go work on their house? I did that life. I'm not doing that life anymore. That's part of the reason why when you buy a house, like you got to ask someone to come help you, and then you got to go help them when they ask you. It's like that was like the movie White Man Can't Jump. When Woody Harrelson got caught up in the game, Wesley Snipes at the end of it asked him for help, and he didn't want to do it, but he had to repay the favor, and he ended up losing his girl for that. Now I think he got her back during the Jeopardy when she went on Jeopardy and won the money back. But what I can tell you is this: when you start favor for a favor, you never live an independent life. And it's always something. You're always on the hook. I don't want to be on the hook anymore. And I want to live a simple life. Love and respect. BVT, good to see you, man. Shout out to South Carolina in the Palmetto State. BVT, you stay positive, brother. Keep telling jokes. Apathy. Thanks, Sam. Thank you, Apathy. Greatly appreciate your wisdom. I appreciate your positivity. Alice coming in. Happy birthday. Thank you, Alice. I appreciate that. Not till tomorrow, though. But thank you for the love. Stay positive. It's good to see you. Take care of your health. May God bless you. And thank you for the super chat. And thank you for happy birthday. I appreciate that, Alice. Good to see you. Back to apathy. Thanks, Sam. Greatly appreciated the wisdom. Well, I appreciate your love and support. I'm ready to jump into the nomadic lifestyle. You have a mature mind. I mean, that's what I could tell from our conversation. So a big part of that is just being mature enough to deal with life. And then she goes, just need to buy some things for self-defense, mace, etc. I agree, but here's the number one thing. In my experience living on the road for 2 years, here's the number one thing you need for self-defense: a fully charged cell phone. Do not go to sleep with your cell phone on low charge. So go to Starbucks, go to the gym. Planet Fitness open 24/7. They have outlets in the wall. A fully charged cell phone is your number one line of defense, because if shit really hits the fan, you want to be able to call 911, okay? And mace may or may not help. A gun may or may not help. Your number one thing is going to be call the authorities. Then after that, it's going to be your physical ability to defense. But what I could tell you is 2 years living on the road, and a lot of it boondocking it, and a lot of it in different states, different parts, I've never really had any physical alteration. I had the cops knock a couple times. I had one drunk guy in Georgia knock on my door like 2 o'clock in the morning. But that was in the very beginning. And so 90% of the time, you're going to have no issue, okay? There was an alligator that came into someone's house yesterday in Florida, okay? So I never had an alligator come into my house, and I never had someone bust into my window. So the cell phone will get you right. Backwoods coming in hot, man, went to super chat. He goes, happy early present to you. Well, I appreciate that. Damn, thank you guys for your kindness, man. And he goes, peace, hang loose, sunglass face emoji. Keep doing you, brother. Thank you. Greatly appreciate all the videos and knowledge, brother. Thank you, man. Take care. Stay safe out there. Well, Backwoods, man, thank you, brother, for the love and the birthday love. Day early. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Alice, Apathy, Snow Panther. Thank you guys, man, for your generosity. Journey with Jordan. Thank you guys. Backwoods, thank you. Appreciate that, man. The love's mutual. I try to share everything I can with you guys. And you guys, look, you guys have been a blessing to me. I say thank you. It's appreciated. Love. Desert Ghost. Happy birthday, Sam. You guys hit me early with the birthday emojis. Thank you. We have a lot of mills. Well, I know in Las Vegas, I know too. It's 90 degrees here today. Well, I like that heat. That heat's no problem with me. And I like the mills in Las Vegas. But the problem with Las Vegas, Arizona is there's no humidity. See, like some people say, oh, it's good there because it doesn't feel like it because there's low humidity. I like humidity because I like to sweat. I like to walk outside and it's like a sauna. That's why I like Florida. I thought about that. I looked at the average humidity levels, and that's why I picked Florida because I like high humidity, and there's no beaches in Las Vegas. So like you can't walk outside and go to the beach. You got to go to a chemical pool. Now they do have saltwater pools, but I got to be in actual ocean. So that's why again Florida is for me. But love and respect to Las Vegas. They also have no state income tax, so that's a positive. Thank you, Desert Ghost. Love to you, brother or sister. I'm not even sure. Well, it's gotta be, bro. I don't know. Apathy. It's your B-day, Sam. Tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday. Happy birthday. That's a day early. You guys got me though. Thank you. The Omega. Okay. I'll show you guys how to downsize your life. For someone, all you have to do to downsize your life, very easy, guys. Very easy. Deb, happy birthday to you. I appreciate that, Deb. Thank you. Martin. Oh yeah, happy birthday, damn man. Yeah, I appreciate that, Martin. Man, you guys are very kind and generous. Martin, thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, everyone, for the super chat love. And it's a day early. My birthday's not till tomorrow. Thank you guys for the love, man. It's very kind of you, Martin. Thank you, man. Thank you. Deb, happy birthday to you, boy. Hey, Sam, do you ever get up to Clearwater area and hang out? Not really. Clearwater is north west Florida or central west Florida. I really don't like the west coast of Florida. I prefer the east coast, and I prefer southeast. I do, on the west coast, the areas I like the most are Marco Island, which I did videos in Naples, which is southwest. There's a theme. I like southern. I like real south. There's a saying, the further you get south in Florida, the more up north you are. So there's more migrants from the northern states in southeast Florida and southwest Florida than there is. Northern Florida is a little bit more country style. So, and it's not a tropical climate. It's a subtropical. You have to get below the center of the state, which is below Orlando, before it gets to a tropical climate. So it's just my personal preference, right? Like, do you want a minivan? Do you want a Class B? Do you want a car? Do you want a red shirt? Do you want a blue shirt? It's a little bit of just personal preference. So it's not about me bashing, but some people like Utah. I like Florida, but I like South Florida. So I really don't go up to the Panhandle. I really don't go up to Clearwater, even though I heard they have some great beaches. I haven't been to Clearwater's beach. I heard it's great, but it's the Gulf of Mexico. I need a little bit more waves. And that's just my own personal opinion. Yeah. Shout out to Naples. Yeah, Kohler County. I went to Kohler State Park. It's only $22. So right outside of Marco Island is a state park. It's the cheapest state park, I believe, in Florida, and it's right by Marco Island. It's called Colliner, I think, State Park. It's only $22 per night, and if you were a senior citizen or if you were disabled, to get 50% off that, it'll only be $11. But here's the negative. It's got a lot of bugs because it's deep in the forest, and bugs almost ate me alive one night. I stayed there one night, and the bugs were eating me so much, I got out of there, and I ended up boondocking at a local Walmart. Thank you, Deb. Apathy. Dunkin' Donuts is offering free donut. What a disaster. On June 7th with any beverage. Such a trap. Yep. The MILF will give you a free blowjob maybe the first night, but after that, you're totally trapped. I agree with that, Apathy. Good job. Pack. Hey, Pack. Love to you, brother. Pack. What's up, Sam? Sam, we love from California. Well, I appreciate that, Pack. You're a positive person. I pray that God blesses you and your children in all seriousness, because you've been a positive person. You are a positive person. I see you out there on other YouTube channels, and you're always a positive person. And that's why you've made it in life. You made it successful, and your kids are successful. Are you perfect? No, none of us are perfect. But I pray all the best to you, brother. I appreciate the love. Look, if Florida ever went underwater, the next state I would look at would probably be California. So I hope I live long enough where. But look, California, earthquake could come. Right now, if you lived in Ohio, you're dealing with a tornado. So there's no place in the world where you're not going to deal with natural disasters. But if you said, Sam, pick a second backup state if all else failed, I would look at California. But the truth be told, if you could work remotely, you do have to consider a state with no state income tax. And that's why most nomads choose like Texas, Florida, Nevada, because, if you're working remotely, but you have to spend the majority of time there. So for me, it's no problem because I like to spend the majority of time in Florida, and I do. But that would be something to consider because it's a financial decision. But if push came to shove, I'd rather live in California than Idaho. So I'd rather pay higher tax. Like you couldn't pay, you could have no federal income tax and live in Idaho. Would I live there? No. So You know, again, but what's the difference? I want to break that down for you guys, right? So I came from New Jersey. New Jersey, you still have to pay federal tax, but New Jersey state tax was 5 to 6% depending on your income bracket. So if you move to Florida, now you just gain 5 to 6% of your income, which may or may not be a lot depending on how much you make. But on average, the pay scale in Florida is lower. So like when I was looking at another static job in Florida for the same thing I do, is like 25% to 30% lower. So even though I wouldn't be paying state tax, the job position itself was paying 25 to 30% lower. So I was still going to net lose 20 to 25% of my pay. Now, luckily, because I work remotely and because I can, work from the home or whatever it may be, however you want to consider that, then it was a transfer. But you have to look at that, right? It's not about just having no state income tax. You have to look at the pay scale and what you're able to make, and then what are you saving in state tax? State tax for most states is 5 to 6%. So you would have to get a job in the state you're looking to move, and you have to make more than 6% for it to be, worth it. Or you couldn't lose more than 6% of your base pay for it to be worth it. So love that. Jules, hey Sam, thumbs up from St. Pete. Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Love to the west coast of Florida. I appreciate everyone who clicks a thumbs up on the video and shares it. Thank you, brother. I'm a traveler, man. I'm in St. Pete too, man. West coast of Florida is in here hard tonight. J Rules, I just divorced a friend of 32 years. Congratulations. I was surprised by the relief I felt. Yep, that's why I said congratulations. Changed my number. Good job. And I won't be looking back. Well, Jules, you did the right thing. You can change your number up to 3 times in 30 days with Sprint or any major carrier. It doesn't cost a dime. It's the best thing you ever do. If someone tells me, and it's usually a girl, who tells me, oh yeah, I broke up with my boyfriend, I'm done with them, and they tell me they didn't change their number, they're playing games, and within 6 months they'll be back with them, and then they'll hide from me because they won't want to admit they're back from them because they're codependent on their emotional or financial support. And then they come in here 2 years later after it totally ended in a disaster, and they say, Sam, that's it. I totally changed my number, and I'm going to live this nomadic lifestyle. And I said, good luck, but I don't put as much energy into the relationship anymore. Why? Because you just wasted 2 years of my life. You wanted me to be a therapist, and you went back and forth. Now I say, look, just good luck. I'm not going to spend too long giving you a big pep talk. Jacob, that's my brother. I was thinking about you today. Jacob, I'm so proud of you, man. You're a positive person. You're working hard in your life. You ain't taking no shit. Good job. Hey, Sam. How are you? I'm feeling pretty good. How are you? I'm okay. I'm heading home right now. Well, all right, brother, drive safe. We'll listen in the background. Jacob, you're a good person. You're working hard for your life. God's going to bless you. Rules. Jules, I'm a traveling man. Hey there. Jacob, also sorry I'm late. You don't have to apologize, brother. You come and go as you please. That's part of a healthy relationship. I'm not a controlling person. I don't want to be around controlling people. Traveling man. Hey, traveling man. Tony. Hey, Sammy. Watched your video where you showed your weight loss pics. Yeah, very inspiring. Thank you, brother. Yes, I lost about 200 pounds. Thank you, Tony. Martin, van beats RVs in my opinion. In many instances, I would tend to agree because the RVs are generic, built specifically for nobody. They're built basically just to make a profit. I want to live in a space built for me. Yeah, now look, and definitely too, there's some people that like to build and like to do renovations. So yeah, look, if you got a $20,000, $30,000 brand new van, you custom build it, you're going to spend, I would say, less than $10,000 from most situations. So you're still ahead of the game. But yeah, I mean, everyone's different. Look, again, if you got the money and you want to buy an RV, I'm not mad at anyone. But it's something to consider. Jacob, tomorrow 39. Yeah, I'm getting old. Happy birthday, Sam. Thank you. Jacob, or did I hear that wrong? No, you heard that right. Venomatic, love my Prius. Well, I'm not mad at that. Yeah, I love the Prius. Great car. Good to see you, Venomatic. Journey with Jordan. Happy birthday. Thank you, brother. Do you feel a year older or a year wiser? I feel a year older. I'm 39. I'm in great shape overall, healthy, very thankful. But my knees feel weaker than they did last year. I don't have as much energy as I did last year. And every year, after about 35, that's when I started feeling the age difference. And I've been, for the past, 5-6 years, I've been in great health. And like I say, it was in my early 30s that I started changing my life because at late 20s, I let myself completely go. But what I could tell you guys is no matter how good you take care of yourself, your body starts to deteriorate. And middle age is right around 40. After that, your body goes downhill because average life expectancy is 80. So live with urgency and don't prolong your dreams because you don't have forever. Dennis, I'm in good health and I'm using the season of my life to transition into a home base. I absolutely love. All right, that's a good plan. In a place which absolutely loves me back. Peace to you. Happy birthday, brother. I appreciate that. Well, Dennis, I appreciate that. Keep pushing forward on your journey. And Brandon, Thank you for the super chat, brother. Happy 21st birthday. Yeah, right, 39, but I appreciate that tomorrow, brother. Sunglass face and birthday emoji. Brandon, thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. You guys are being very kind, man. I appreciate the birthday wishes. Yeah, I'm not gonna be 21, but I appreciate that. I don't look at. I never felt like embarrassed about getting older. To me, I always wanted to get older. I always wanted my independence. And I know like women sometimes get offended, but I like to ask women, I like to ask men how old you are, because I like to make a point to say the average life expectancy. And I think it's shameful for people who don't want to share their age or who don't want to accept the fact that they're going to die, only because it's going to hurt them. And you should live a life that you want to live with urgency. So Brandon, thank you, brother. I appreciate the birthday love. It's seen, recognizes, and everyone out there is showing the love. Thank you. Eric, what's up, man? Jordan scored 51 at 38 with the Wizards. Yeah, that was one of his last like pops. And who he scored it against and what was the scenario. But the bottom line is he didn't go far in the playoffs, and the bottom line, that was basically his last run. So you can get a little bit of a dead bounce cat, like, you know what I mean, at the end of your life. But you're done. He didn't win the championship. He had to retire. He had a bad knee. And who'd he drop that 38, who'd he drop that 51 on? And he really didn't have any significance. So you can drop 51 and kind of like people just letting you do it. But he still had some good days. But, you know, again, the point is, you know, you can still have good days, whether you're 58, 68. You can still have moments of greatness. But you're not going to be consistently great, and you're not going to have consistently good days because it's just age. And there's nothing shameful about that. It's just part of life. Dead. Sam, you can't be a stripper at 62. Why not? You will get your pasties caught in your waistband of your belt. Well, that's true. I'll tell you. Well, look, your knees too will buckle up. You try to go do like a backspin on the pole, your knees are going to buckle up. Like sometimes my knees buckle up when I'm in the ocean and I get a strong wave, and I say, damn, I'm getting old, and I'm 39. Imagine me 62 trying to do like a backspin on the pole. My knees would buckle up. Jeffrey, happy birthday, Sam. Thank you. You look very contented tonight. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I'm happy you found a piece of heaven in Florida. Thank you, brother. I appreciate people who want to see me happy. And that's what my mom said to me, too, when she found out about me selling my house and living on the road. She said, Sam, I want you to be safe. She goes, look, but obviously you seem happy, and I want you to be happy. And that's a whole different reaction than I got from my father. And that's why I started to say, look, I'm going to start downsizing people too. Whoever isn't happy for me, they're getting cut off. Scissor emoji. I want everyone to put a scissor emoji in the live feed. Why? Because I want you to make a mental note that you have to start cutting people off. Good job. Martin, thank you again, man, for the super chat love. He says, time is valuable. I totally agree, brother. Thank you again, man. Very generous. Apathy. So true, Martin. Yep, you dropped that knowledge. Dennis. Nice, Martin. Yep. Vanomatic. Happy birthday in advance. So thank you. Tony, Sam, happy birthday. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You guys making me that. I appreciate that. Alice, thank you again, Alice. I appreciate that. Good to see you, Alice. Thank you. Tony, Sam, I saw someone selling a Class B for $7,000. Is this a good deal? Sounds like a scam, or it sounds like it's going to have a bunch of mold. I saw someone on YouTube, they bought like a 15-year-old or 20-year-old class. It had a lot of mold in it. And they're dumping money into it left and right. And if you buy, what you have to realize is too, an RV doesn't really fully have value unless you're going to have a place to plug it in. Because the whole point of an RV is you're able to plug it into utilities to enjoy the amenities. Other than that, all you're gaining is room. So a Class B, all you're doing is having a van. So you might, instead of spending money on a Class B, you're better off just getting a van and running a extension cord to it. So that's why I think it's a money trap for a lot of people. Not for everyone. And there's exceptions, but you have to consider where are you going to park the RV, because you're anchored now. You're not as flexible, and that's something to be considered. Martin, thank you again, man. Martin, super chat. Working smarter instead of harder is the best part of wisdom. Amen. I still run circles around these kids at work. I'm 43 now. Well, amen, brother. Look, well, you're in a prime, man. Because when you're young, I remember like running up the steps with like rigid galvanized pipe on my shoulder. I was working an electrical job, and we were installing a galvanized pipe in this commercial building. And when you're an apprentice, you're like a runner. You just like bring materials to like the guys who are 43 and they're journeymen, and they're just, because like middle of your life, your mind, what Martin is saying, thank you again, Martin, your mind is in tune with your body, and that's when you're at your prime, you're at your peak. Now you're starting to peak down at 43, but you're still like your prime of your life. Your body and your mind are at its like optimum level, and so you're at your peak. Now, when you're in a professional basketball, 30 or 28 is your peak. If you're like in a regular workforce, around 40 is your peak, because your enthusiasm when you're young and when you're running around with pipe on your shoulder or you're running around at a corporation trying to show off. You have a lot of enthusiasm, you have a lot of energy, but you don't have the experience, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the history. So when you have still good physical capability in your 40s and you have a good experience, you have good knowledge, you have repetition, then you're kind of at your peak and you're at your optimum level. So, yeah, I mean, seize the moment. And here's the key thing, Martin and everyone. When you are at your peak, that is the time to position for when you won't be at your peak. When a stripper is making her most money, that's the time to bank money, not to buy 2 houses. Why? Because you ain't always going to be the hot stripper. Eventually, some other hot young chick going to come on a strip club like Lisa Ray and take your spot. And eventually, you're the old stripper that now has to be the bartender. And eventually, no one even wants you as the bartender because you've been with too many of the local guys and everyone's talking about you and you got to get out of that lifestyle. Guys, when things are going good, here's the lesson. When things are going good, that's the time to reposition your life. And that's when I said, look, I'm in a good job right now. I'm in good health. Now's the time to downsize my life, live in my car, keep my job, reposition my life in Florida. And then if the shit hits the fan, I don't have to get another high-stress job. I can do it. I can do a lot of different things. I still have to have a job. The time to position your life is when things are going good because you have more options. The best time to get a job is when you currently have a job. Okay. The worst time to do something is when you're totally desperate because that's when you get screwed. But sometimes you have to. I bought a van one time when I was a contractor. I had bad credit. I was in debt, but I had no other choice. Every dealership I went to, they were basically like licking their chops because basically if they were going to give me a car and give me financing, I was going to get screwed because I had no options. I had bad credit, and that's what happens. I got a van for about 23% interest. Why? Because I had no other choices. When you're in a good position, when you're top of your game, that's when it's time to start to think of when you're not going to be at top of your game. Position yourself when you can, not when you're desperate. Good job. Thank you again, Martin. Tony, Sam, I saw someone's, oh yeah, I read that, sorry. Jalen, Sam, the way you connect with your viewers is priceless. Thank you, I appreciate that. No one's doing it like you, brother. I appreciate the kindness, but there are other people out there doing their thing, and I know some viewers hate me because of the way I talk, the way I am, but I'm just basing this channel on being myself. A little rain here in Florida tonight. But I'm just basing this channel on being myself, and I'm able to be myself. I'm able not to have to pander and make videos how I want because I have a full-time job. And that's why I said, let me start this YouTube channel when I'm in a position where I don't need it to be monetized, where I don't need it to make money. And then gradually over time, if I could build it up, then it's a plus, okay? But a lot of people who start a YouTube channel as their only source of revenue or their main source, they have to base their videos, they have to base their comments, they have to base them being willing to block people all on, is this person going to help me financially or not? So I've blocked people that have super chatted me, not because I want to be mean, but because eventually the relationship got unhealthy. Like you may end up dating someone and they bought you a nice purse, but then eventually they may hold that purse over your head. And then if you don't give them head, then they give you shit. And then, but you love your purses. See, like, you know, I'm not going to like let somebody like control me with money. So the best relationships are those not based on control. And money is a form of control. And when you're using your creativity, you have to be very cautious that it's not centered around solely the dollar. Look, everything is a little bit, money plays a part. So, but if money is the sole part, then you lose your soul. So the time to do something is when you don't have to do something. That way you're more freer. And you know, Tony, because you're in the creative space. I know Jalen left a comment, but I thought Tony, because he plays the saxophone. When you can use your creativity and not have to worry about the crowd's reaction, you tend to be just more free in expressing yourself how you want. And so, but thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. Backwoods, thank you again, man, for the super chat, for the happy birthday wishes. Love to your brother. Love to everyone who's been very kind tonight in the super chat. Very much appreciated, and that's sincere. Thank you. Apathy. It's either now or never. At a certain point, yes, you have to do planning, you have to do research, but eventually you have to pull the trigger. Hey, nice backwoods. Thank you. Damn it, Martin. I, I appreciate that, man. Working 80 hours a week to pay off my debt. Amen. That's a smart move. And buy some land to park my van. All right, you got a plan. I like that. And grow my food. I'm not mad at that. Carpe diem. I agree with that. I mean, seize the day. One of the YouTubers that inspired me, he was actually 70 living out of his Prius. He used to always say that, carpe diem. He still does, which means seize the day, seize the moment. I agree with that. Martin, let me ask you this. Just come on, show enough, man. Keep positive, man. You don't want no BJ. He's showing love, man. I love you, show enough. Good to see you. Shout out to Oklahoma. Martin, what state do you want to buy land in? I'm always curious, people, what state they love. Back to live comments. Show enough. It's all love, man. Free hand jobs for everybody, man. Come on. Hang loose. I love you, brother. Backwoods. No problem, brother. Anytime. Thumbs up. Appreciate that. You're very welcome. I'm a lone wolf. Well, I did a whole video about that. Like, yeah, like so I'm a few in my circle I pay attention to. I appreciate that, man. Time is valuable. Totally agree. Don't waste it. Yeah, don't waste it on the ungrateful. Don't waste it on your father. Again, you may have to walk away from inheritance. Now, if you're dead broke and you got a rusty, old, moldy RV and you got no other money, then you may have to, like my man Shonuff say, you may have to give a blowjob to your dad. Now, God forbid. I'm being joyful. Don't do that. But what I'm trying to say is there's a game there. My mom, I always say this. People ask me sometimes, what's the biggest piece of advice I can give to anyone? My biggest piece of advice is what my mom told me. She actually wrote it in her will, and she asked me to hold her will if I ever die. And it says, the number one lesson she wrote to her kids, that's her last will and testament, is don't let anyone ever control you. And that's what my father kind of tried to do at the end of the relationship. And that's what my mom eventually said, fuck it. I'm getting a divorce, and she worked at ShopRite at night, and she did other low-paying jobs during the day, and she sung at church on the weekends. She basically did 3 jobs, but she did that because she had kids, she had responsibilities. She didn't just live in her van and not work. So a lot of people message me with that. I'm not buying it. But she was willing to work. She's willing to do what she needed to do for her kids, and we were privileged, in my opinion. We had more than a lot of other people. Privileged. And my father worked too. He paid child support, so I don't want to neglect what my father did. And he visited on the weekends. But I'm just making the point of eventually you're going to have to walk away from a relationship. And that may include in walking away from some financial stability. Now, that may mean that you may have to get 2 jobs like my mom did. But guess what? It's time to get 2 jobs, okay? Because nothing is worth allowing someone to control you. You're basically dead. And that's not the way to live, guys. So, love to that. Martin, man, thank you again, brother, for all the kindness, man. Appreciate that very much. Backwoods. Yeah, awesome, Martin. Very much appreciate it. Apathy. Nice, Martin. Thank you, too, Apathy. I appreciate your love. Stay positive. Keep pushing forward to your dream. You're smart. You'll figure it out. Jacob. All right, Sam. Jacob working hard. I just got home. Going to sleep. Do you, brother. Use your sex toy, too, if you got to. Love and respect. Jacob, you worked hard, man. Don't be afraid to masturbate. Dennis. You are the alpha to the omegas, laughing. Love your consistency on downsizing. Well, thank you. Look, I often say don't miss out on the gems. To find a gem, sometimes you got to dig through dookie. So sometimes when I holler, sometimes when I shout, sometimes when I talk about masturbation, that may be dookie to you. You may not want to hear that. But to get a gem, you got to dig through all that. If you dig through all that, what's my core message to everyone? Live below your means. Find the environment that inspires you, move to that area, keep healthy relationships, and use your creative gifts. All those gems about living below your means, about living in an environment that inspires you, that don't have people in your life that are unhealthy for you, those things, you don't have to live in a car. You don't have to live the type of life I'm living. You don't have to work remotely. You could have kids, you could do other things and still live this life. So, you have to figure out your own life, okay? I can give you a certain template on what worked for me, but there's a certain part of your life. Everyone has their own unique thumbprint. Everyone, I think there's 6 billion people or something in the world. Everyone has a unique individual thumbprint. That's why, on your phone, on my Samsung Galaxy 10, part of the security features, I have to put my thumbprint on it to unlock it. No one else has my thumbprint, guys. No one else has your thumbprint. So there's part of your life that you actually have to say, look, I could take a little bit from Inspirational Nomad. I could take a little bit from Living in a Van. I could take a little bit from Shonuff, a little bit from Martin, a little bit from Traveling Van. But there's some part of it that no one else can tell me, including my parents. There's some part of my life that I have to go out in the world, fail, figure it out as I go, and keep pushing forward. And that's the part that a lot of people get caught up on. And that's the part where a lot of people ask questions and questions and questions. They don't do any research, and they're not willing to make mistakes. After you've counted the cost, after you've done research, after you ask some questions, then you got to just do. And then you got to figure it out as you go and refine it as you go. Good job. Journey with Jordan. Shout out to Naples. Yeah. Shout out to that. Their state park down there that's cheap but got a lot of bugs. Tony. Okay. Pumps on. We're good. Sam, Cali is a hellhole. Don't go there. Well, South Cali's not bad, is it? San Diego area? And smoked deer, the best bug deplant. I love to you. Milano, I looked at Emilio's video today. I didn't know you. I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Emilio didn't call you Milano. He called you Malono. Not Malono. Manolo. So I didn't know it was Manolo, but I call you Milano. I hope you don't get mad that I call you Milano. But I watched some of Emilio's old videos today with you and him. You guys both in your class B+. It's good to see you, Milano. Tony, Maryland is 6, but I get tax credit for being a business. Okay, so it's a win-win. Well, there you go. That's smart. Let's take a hydration break, guys. Brandon, man, thank you again, brother, for the super chat. Love to you, peace to you. And I appreciate that. Bodega Surge on super chat. I appreciate that, brother. I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you, and love to you, and appreciation to you. Appreciation to everyone showing love on the super chat. Thank you very much for your kindness. Thank you, Bodega. I hope I'm saying that right. I know the Bodega back in the day was the corner store spot, but love to you, and thank you. Thank you very much. Tony, oh, Sam, I got the insurance, and the next gig I broke my sax talk. Oh, on a good investment. He was talking about, Tony plays the saxophone. He was talking about getting insurance on a saxophone. And he asked me what I should do. I said, Jennifer Lopez has insurance on her ass. So if like she falls and she has like an ass fracture, she has insurance. So I said, if J-Lo's got insurance on her ass, you better get insurance on your saxophone. That's your moneymaker. So good thing you had that insurance, brother. Martin, thumbs up, Brandon. Journey with Jordan. At Tony, what? What happened? Did you knock it over or stand or something? Journey with Jordan. At Tony. Glad that insurance will cover a key. Got to protect your investments, guys, whether it's your ass or your sax. Whatever the damages are. Yep, Tony. Stupid band member kicked it off the stage. It wasn't his fault. Really, the lights got her so she could see. Okay. H-Town. What's up, man? H-Town. Shout out to Part-Time Lover. H-Town, the R&B group, had the song called Part-Time Lover. You should look it up. It was on the Thin Line Between Love and Hate soundtrack. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for the happy birthday, man. Love and respect you. I want to be a part-time lover. Yeah, that's good. Tony, got to a new, Tony, for some cake. Well, thank you, man. Cake. The Rihanna song plays in the background of my head. Well, Tony, damn it, brother. Thank you. And I pray you get a full payout from your insurance, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, Tony. Tony says, I got to get a new neck snapped clean, though, so I'm going to get a new one. I'm not mad at that. I remember when I played the saxophone, when I was young, I tried it. I only played it for like a couple months and I quit. But I remember they had like the little wooden thing that you put like on your mouth on the top of it, and you have to exchange that. I don't know what they even call that. Martin, thank you again, brother. Working smarter instead of harder. That's right. Yeah, 43 broke that down. Yeah, when you're middle-aged, that's when your mind and your body align. Thank you again, Martin, for all the love, and I appreciate that. Which state, brother, are you looking at as a home base area? Tony? No, Sam. It's an old lady. It's looked good. Okay. Journey with Jordan. All right, Tony. Wow, that's a terrible, basically the biggest disaster that can happen. No fixing that. Oh, yeah, with the knockover saxophone? Hoping everything goes well with the insurance claim. Yeah, me too. I hope you get a full payout, brother. Martin, thank you again, man. Martin, working 80 hours a week. Look, guys, to pay off your debt is huge. First thing you want to do is try to get a year's worth of savings in a savings account. Start with $1,000 in a savings account, then try to get a year's worth of savings, then pay down your debt, and then start to reposition your life. Good job, brother. Tony, it's horrible. I'm so bummed. I can understand that. I totally hate life when I drop my cell phone. Like everything can be going good. I tell you guys, stay positive. But if I drop my cell phone, I'll curse this earth. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But even when I drop it, I try to be thankful. I try to stay positive and ask God for forgiveness. He goes, it's horrible. I'm so bummed that sax was now. I'm used to sound and B. It may sound like crap, but I'm going to buy one and top line. Here's the thing. Anytime that I've dropped a phone, I've lost something, and I've really cursed the earth, eventually I've gotten something better, realized it wasn't that big a deal. Sure enough, I'm worried right now. You know he's good. Sure enough, good to see you, brother. I still remember the insight you gave me about if I made an RV, a travel trailer, my home base, about skirting it up. When you buy a travel trailer and you put it on an RV lot, if it's in the community, a lot of times you got to skirt it. Meaning you got to anchor it down to the concrete, and then you got to put like a little fencing underneath. So, brother, I still appreciate that. Love to you. Love to Oklahoma. Good to see you, man. Bodega, thumbs up. Thank you. Cameron, go to a massage parlor and get a BJ wall. I was right by the, I did a video from the massage parlor that Bob Kraft got a hand job and a blow job from. He ended up basically getting the charges dropped because he had good enough lawyers where they basically found out that the cops had illegally bugged the massage parlor. Now, the massage parlor ladies and all the initial people who copped a plea, they pleaded guilty. And it goes to show you, like, again, not that I hope you ever get in trouble, and I hope you don't do stuff to get you in trouble, but if you ever get in trouble, keep your mouth shut and lawyer up, because most of the time, that's the best way. Martin, I'm looking at Wisconsin. Oh, really? Because it's my home state. Well, I'm not mad at you, cheesehead. And close to my daughter. Well, I can understand that. Close to your children. A lot of people say that. Land is cheap up north. Well, Wisconsin, it's going to be dirt cheap, probably. Growing season is short, but I can make it work. Well, I'm not mad at you. Well, here's the thing. Like, if you have a home base, now you guys know I would never do Wisconsin, but if you had a home base, then obviously you could put full utilities, right? Even if you do a van, you could put a heater in there. You can get electrical hookups, and you got more liberties on a home base to, to hook it up, and you could be obvious. You could put a tarp over it. You could put a carport. So that's the value of a home base, right? Like, you could do a lot more things and not having to worry about. And especially if you're going to buy in a cheap state like Wisconsin, you could buy a acre, 2 acres or whatever, and you can kind of rig it up however you want, and that would be the value of that. Tony, hello, Wisconsin, laughing, yeah. Brandon, if you've got to pander to people, that will kill your spirit, yep, and your inspiration, yep. Now, I want to be fair though too. Like, in my corporate life and in my other jobs, I won't say I pander, but I won't say, like, I don't go in there and tell them to kick rocks, right? So I don't want to be disingenuous either and mislead you guys that there's times in your life where you have to understand your environment and your situation, and don't play to the crowd, don't pander. You should never do that. You should always be honest. But I present things a little bit more rougher on this channel because this is my creative space. But in a workspace, you don't want to pander, but there's a way to present your disagreement, right? So obviously this is a creative space, so I can just bluntly express it. But in real life, on your workplace, whether you're working at Walmart or Wall Street, you can't be as blunt as maybe I'm being on this live stream. So, that's the only thing to consider. Good job. And then he goes, you can't pander or kill your spirit. Live your truth. Yep. With the few that remain will propel you forward. That's true, with the exception of work. Good job. Travel man, Dookie emoji. Yeah, Dookie emoji makes everything all right. Martin, that Tony. I have a Yamaha 10-year sax, middle of the line, but plays like a dream. Bodega, this guy's dope. Well, thank you, Bodega. I appreciate the love and super chat. Thank you, Bodega. Sam, I'm kicking album titles around. What do you think of Saxaholics? That's a self-titled thing. Saxaholics is a go. Journeys from a Smoke-Filled Room. I would leave out the Smoke-Filled Room. In my opinion, you should do whatever you want because your creative space. In my opinion, I would just call it the Saxaholics. It would be like a self-titled album. The group is Saxaholics and the album title is Saxaholics. And then on your second album, then I would look at like naming it something else, but that's just my opinion. Krugen 5, great advice, bro. Thank you. I love your videos. I appreciate the encouragement. It means something to me, and I want to let you know I say thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Tony Martin, nice. I play alto. Bodega, thank you again for the super chat. Love to you. Appreciation to you. I'm a travel man. What's a good campground in Daytona Beach? A little bit north of Daytona Beach. It's called Gambler State Park. I did a video on it. It's right off Highway A1A. I think it's Gamble Rogers State Park, right off Highway A1A. State Park, $26 per night. If you're a senior citizen or Florida resident, or if you're disabled and you have a certificate, you get 50% off. So it would be what, $13 per night, something like that. Martin, it's about, I don't know, what, 30 or 20 minutes north of Daytona Beach. Martin, I have played alto, tenor, and baritone one time or another. Okay, a lot of people saxophone. Milano says, yes, Sammy. Oh, it's not Milano. It's, well, how do you say it? He said, not Milano, but not Milano. Manolo is how you say it. I'll try to remember that. Bodega. Yeah, new listener. Well, I appreciate the love. Rick, raining in the hallway. Yeah, it's raining. It's raining. It's rainy season, so in the afternoon it rained for about an hour today, then it got back to 90 degrees sunny. I was in the ocean, and then within the past hour it rained here at night. I'll sleep good tonight, but we're winding down. Good to see you, Rick. Tony, thank you again for the cake love, man. Thank you, Tony. Journey with Jordan. Reed, Manolo, Sammy, the Colombian like the saxophone. Oh, they do very much. That's good. Tony, it's called a reed. I buy boxes. I throw out a lot. iSurvivor, good to see you, brother. Love to you, man. Peace to you. Shout out to Long Island. Told disaster, but iSurvivor is doing the right thing. He's got kids, working hard. He's doing medical transportation. He was an Uber driver, but it wasn't cost effective, so now he's doing medical transportation. So he goes, since we human beings become more civilized, we lost vitamin D3, which becomes a hormone. Our entire bodies have receptors for this hormone. I'd agree with that to a certain extent. Specifically for our immune system, yep. Don't want to get sick, take D3. Yeah, or just come to the Florida sun. But yeah, I agree with that. I'm getting plenty of vitamin D down here, brother. And I'm getting MILF vitamin D. It's good. Love to you. Good to see you, iSurvivor. Journey with Jordan. Maury, check out the Dave Ramsey show on YouTube. I look at his stuff. Great financial advice and templates for gaining financial freedom. He helped me. When I remember driving on the Garden State Parkway in New Jersey and listening to Dave Ramsey for the first time on AM radio. And it gave me some structure. Just like I didn't agree with everything he said, just like people don't agree with everything I say on this channel, but it gave me some structure on how to focus my financial resources and start to live a life below my means. Gloria's still with me. I appreciate you hanging with me. Happy birthday. Well, I appreciate that, Gloria. Good to see you. Keep pushing forward. You have what it takes. You can still live your dream, but live with urgency. Thank you, Martin. Also, Northwest Wisconsin is one of the ideal shift bug out spots. Okay. Tony, going around to labels now, shopping demos around because studio time's expensive nowadays. Yeah. Well, nowadays, hopefully you could do a lot of stuff online. You could just have a YouTube channel dedicated to your thing and advertise it like that. Martin, D3 and B12 and omega-3. I eat some protein bars with omega-3 are supplements, and salmon has good vitamin 3. Are supplements I take. Okay. Martin, I listen to Dave religiously. Okay. Every morning for several years. He's pretty smart. He helped me. Cameron, what happened to Sloppy Turtle? I don't even remember. I don't know. There's so many people. Here's the thing, guys. If you ever have a YouTube channel, you're going to have people that come on your channel and they love you, they support you, or they hate you, but they're only in your life for a season. A year from now, there will only be 10% or less of the people that are in the chat room now a year from now. Now, there'll be some people that hang with you, but the turnover rate is very high. So, like a lot of times in the beginning of my channel, I would get emotionally attached to other people, and then when they would either let me down or they would just leave, it would be like breaking up with someone. But as you mature, you kind of realize that just like life, you have to learn to let go, and you don't want to be controlling. So you want to give people the freedom, and you want to give yourself the freedom to just not hold on too tight. Vicky, Minnesota to Florida. Damn, it's a super chat. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. Vicky, give me the countdown. Give me the countdown of how many days you have left to come into Florida. See, obviously, she's from Minnesota. She's getting ready to come to Florida. It's her dream state. She already got a tattoo of Florida. I was thinking about getting a tattoo of Florida. And what I could tell you is this, guys. It takes you about 2 years. What do you do while you wait? You keep throwing stuff out. Vicky left a comment on it. Deb left a comment. She said, it's harder to downsize when you have kids and a spouse that aren't in agreement. And Vicky said she throws stuff out when her kids and her spouse aren't home. And what she realizes most of the times they don't even notice. Now that may cause World War III, but whatever it takes to get down to Florida, keep throwing stuff out because there's a lot of Walmarts in Florida. Thank you, Vicky, for the love. I appreciate that. Thank you. Martin, All we have in life to remember are the moments. I agree with that. Noriega had a song like that, man. Moments. I want you to YouTube Nori Moments. It's a good song. I like that song. I'm okay with that. You got to be okay with that. That's a good comment. I agree. Let's end on that note, guys, because that's actually a great comment. Enjoy the moments of your life. Carpe diem. You guys were very generous tonight. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for everyone who clicked the thumbs up button. You are very much appreciated. Vicky says, yes, 397 days left to come to Florida. Guys, keep your vision in front of you. Keep your dreams and your hopes in front of you. And each day, take steps forward, whether it's throwing out more stuff, whether it's researching, whether it's taking action, whatever it is. You'll never be as young as you are today. Keep good people around you. Talk to yourself well. Push yourself each morning to either go for a walk or work out. Because, guys, each day requires you to do something in the day that you're not going to want to do, but you're going to feel better about after you do. So some things in the day you need to do that you don't want to do only because it's the best for you. Stay positive.